Hi everyone, John from LookSmart Home Inspections here in New Jersey, performing great home inspections throughout the state of New Jersey. Today I'd like to talk to you guys about two defects that I sometimes find in older homes. And when I'm talking about an older home, I'm talking about a house, in this case, from say the 1920s to the 1950s. The first defect is having an unlined chimney, and the second defect is having a main lead water service line to the home. Okay, I think it's helpful just to talk briefly about what a chimney does. What is a chimney? A chimney is a system. It's a venting system basically. So what can vent into a chimney? Well, a fireplace can vent into a chimney, and the exhaust gases from burning that wood can exit and vent up a chimney. Then we can have a boiler or a furnace vent into a chimney. We can have a gas heater or propane heater vent also into a chimney. So a chimney takes these exhaust gases, which are poisonous. We've all heard of carbon monoxide, a colorless, odorless gas that can basically kill a person. And its purpose is to take these exhaust gases, smoke, soot, carbon monoxide, and the rest of the products of combustion, and to safely discharge them to the upper atmosphere and out of the house. Now that we've talked about what a chimney does, let's talk a little bit about why an unlined chimney is unsafe. An unlined chimney is unsafe because the products of combustion, as carbon monoxide, soot, smoke, or embers, say from a fireplace, can enter small cracks, openings, and fissures that develop in an unlined chimney. And these openings develop because condensation forms on the interior of the chimney. Because the brick is exposed, it's cold. And so when these hot products of combustion meet this cold brick on the inside of this chimney, it forms condensation, which seriously degrades the interior of these exposed bricks and mortar joints, allowing openings to develop. And through these openings, carbon monoxide, soot, smoke, or embers can enter, either causing a fire or an unsafe condition with this toxic gas entering the living space. We just learned about what makes an unlined chimney unsafe. Let's talk a little bit about what makes a lined chimney a lot better option. So a chimney liner is going to direct those products of combustion from the base of the chimney or bottom of the chimney all the way up to the top of the chimney where they can be safely expelled. So a chimney liner is basically a tube that's going to take those poison gases and safely distribute them to the outside. And these gases, once contained in the chimney liner, do not have the ability to enter gaps or openings inside an unlined chimney. So they are safely going to be expelled to the outside atmosphere, as opposed to being possibly expelled in the inside atmosphere, which would be really detrimental or hazardous to the occupants of a home. Now you're probably asking yourself, if I'm looking for an older house, how do I know if the chimney is lined? And the answer is, it's not really easy to know. But there are a couple of things that you can do to maybe give you a little bit more insight on whether the chimney is lined or not. And one of the things you can do is step back from the home and visibly look at the chimney from the outside. And if you look at the chimney and you see, say, 6-8 inches of clay pipe protruding the top of the chimney, there's a good chance that that's a chimney liner and your chimney is possibly lined. In fact, there's a good chance that you have a chimney liner installed, which is a good thing. And if you do the same thing and you see a metal termination cap at the top of the chimney, that's another good indication to know that you have a chimney liner installed. And that doesn't mean that there aren't chimney problems. We see a lot of chimney problems, and they're expensive problems to cure. But at least, using some visible insight, you can maybe determine if the chimney is lined or not and have some more information for yourself. Another thing you can do that's a little bit more challenging if you're inside a house looking at the home is to take a look inside the fireplace and look up. So if you look up inside the fireplace and you see some naked brick, which you probably will see, but if you look behind or above that first, say, 6 to 8 courses of exposed brick, you will see typically a terracotta liner or a clay liner beginning. And if you see that and you look up, and that's a good thing to know, and that also is a solid indication that you have a chimney that is lined. So what does an unlined chimney look like? In the next clip, I'm going to show you what an unlined chimney looks like, plus a chimney with a couple other defects that are easily to spot. We're going to go rooftop on this one, and this is a 1930s built multi-family home in a very urban area. We're going to hear the wind swirling around, so just bear with me with that. I want you to also pay attention to the exterior of this chimney, because in the first shot, you're going to see the chimney completely coated with this black tar substance, right? And this is most likely a roofing tar or cement or something like that. But we don't want a brick chimney covered with either paint or tar or another substance, because bricks are porous by their nature and they really need to breathe properly. They need to take water in and then expel, or that water needs to evaporate from inside the brick. So when you put on another substance or a paint or roofing tar, that actually locks in the moisture, causing more damage. So if you're looking at a house and you see that the chimney is an odd color, or it's been painted black, or it looks like it has this tar substance on it, that's going to be a problem, and that's going to have to be rectified by a chimney professional. I want you to pay attention to the base of the chimney. So on a lot of these urban houses, you'll have a low sloped roof system. And this particular chimney is located at the front of the roof, and the roof is like this. So what's going to happen here? Water is going to be directed from the roof to the back of the chimney. And that's important because the chimney doesn't have a diverter, it doesn't have a cricket, it doesn't have a means to divert water from the base of the chimney. So snow, water, and ice are just going to lay up against the rear of the chimney, and a low slope roof, it's eventually going to end up in the living space. And this is what we found in this particular house. You'll see actually some evidence of staining around the base of the chimney, which is a telltale sign that water is just stagnating in front of the chimney. So one of the things that I did recommend on this particular chimney is to have a chimney professional install a diverter or cricket or other means to divert water from around the chimney. So any chimney that basically is about 30 inches or more in width should have a means to divert water from it if we have a direct source of that water going towards the chimney. So this chimney that we're going to see is an actual in-use chimney. So this is a very real problem. We have two boilers and two water heaters entering two flues of this chimney. Now the chimney has 3 flues total, but only 2 flues are in operation, thankfully. But nobody really knows that this problem exists. So the house is unfortunately occupied, and the tenants don't have any idea that they're possibly in danger from toxic gas exposure if there's fissures or breaks inside this unlined chimney. So it's a very real problem, and it's a problem that I really just want you guys to understand if you're thinking about purchasing an older home. So let's take a look and see what we have. So here's our chimney at the rooftop, and you can see all this tar material painted on, applied to the exterior of the chimney. And this is just going to lock in moisture and create damage to the underlying brick. So if you guys see this, that's a problem. Here we have at the base of the chimney water collecting. So water is going to end up collecting at the base of this chimney because there's no cricket or diverter flashing or any means to divert water from this chimney, and we see water infiltration inside the building under this area. Here we have the first unlined active chimney flue, and you can see the exposed bricks as we go down inside this chimney. There's some gaps and delaminated bricks. This is not sufficient to hold back the products of combustion, and this is actually an unsafe condition for the occupants of the home. Here's the second unlined chimney flue, also active. A boiler and a water heater are entering this chimney flue. And both of these chimneys that have these exposed bricks need to be realigned. This is probably going to cost about $5,000 each of these flues, so probably between $8,000 and $10,000 total repair here. We also would like to see a rain hat on top of these chimneys to prevent water from getting in and causing more damage. As we move to the left side here, we have a chimney that is not in use with a mesh covering over it, which is also improper. It's just going to let water in. So I recommended to the customer that this chimney be properly capped and abandoned properly. So this next problem is really, really important, and you guys really want to know if you're buying an older house, if the house has an older main lead water line. Now, this is really important because if you have a lead line to the house, you're going to be exposed most likely to high levels of lead, which is a heavy metal, and it's known and it's documented to cause neurological and other health effects in babies and adults. I don't want to get too much in the weeds about the health issues of lead, but really just know it's something you really don't want in a house and can cause a lot of problems for the newborn, the unborn, and even adults. So now you're probably saying to yourself, well, gee whiz, how do I know if I have a lead water line in the house that I'm thinking about buying? Well, first you have to locate the main water valve and the water meter. That's usually in the basement. So try to find the water meter. And if you look at that water meter, and to the left or the right of that water meter, you see something that looks like this. Yes, this is an egg, but you're not looking for an egg. You're looking for something that looks like an egg, that's gray in color. So what we're looking for is a grayish solder ball. And this is where the lead line will meet a dissimilar metal pipe. So usually a galvanized pipe. And this is how the lead line is attached to the other dissimilar metal pipe. And that's how you're going to know if it's a lead line. You're also going to know if it's a lead pipe because it's so malleable. It's easy to scratch. So if you have a penny in your pocket or a quarter, some other change, what you can do is simply just very carefully see if you can scratch that pipe. Because copper pipe is not going to scratch very easily, and galvanized pipe, which is another problem too, but we won't talk about that now, will not scratch very easily. But lead pipe is very easy to scratch. So I want you to just carefully see if you can scratch that pipe material, and then chances are you're going to have a lead pipe. So if you see something like this and a pipe that's very easy to damage or scratch, then you probably have a lead water line. And this is important because we don't want a lead water line. We want a copper water line. So it's something that's going to have to be dealt with. It's a rather expensive problem. It's probably going to be $6,000+ to do the change out of this lead line, which is probably going to be your responsibility when you own the home. It's your responsibility from the street connection to the water meter, and it's going to be expensive. Now, there are some programs that may be up and coming, which I'm not all that familiar with, but you may want to look into them, which may help ease the cost of lead water line replacement, because it is a health hazard and really it needs to be changed out. In this next clip, I'm going to show you what a main lead water line looks like in an actual 1930s house, and the lead ball or lead solder ball that's associated with it. So if you see something like this in a house that you're thinking about buying, chances are you're going to have a main lead water line that's going to have to be replaced. So let's take a look and see what we have. Here is our main lead water line to the house, and as we move closer we can see that egg-shaped solder ball that indicates that this is a main lead water pipe. And also remember that lead water lines are very, very soft and easy to scratch. So if you can scratch the pipe, then chances are you have a main lead water line. These main lead water lines would have to be removed in order to avoid health hazards. So there you have it. There's a couple of defects that you guys can look for when you're buying an older home. Make sure to look for those unlined chimneys, very, very important. And also those main lead water supply pipes, also super important. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So if you did enjoy the video, please hit like below. Would certainly appreciate that. And if you really enjoyed the video and want to help out, definitely hit subscribe. I certainly would appreciate that. I enjoy making these videos, and I hope you guys are getting something from it. And remember, when you're looking for a house, stay empowered and keep your eyes open.